Yes, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And Harlem Network News is a media platform. We started at the onset of COVID, and we are still here. We consider ourselves an essential service, just bringing news and information to the community. And we basically are here to inform, engage, and call to action Harlem and Harlems of the world and the whole world, because a lot of times our stories are really not covered, and media is truly the message, especially at this point in time. You could reverse it and say is the message media, but you figure that out. But today we have a very special guest with us. We've been doing a series on the Summer Harlem Fine Art Show that is taking place for the very first time out in the Hamptons. And that's a really big deal. The Harlem Fine Art Show has been going, I think it's going to be like 20 years in 2028. A family extended, uh, actually, I feel like family, but uh, community member, Dion Clark, is the founder and the CEO of the Harlem Fine Arts Show. And it initially was like in Riverside Church, I think for about 12 years. Then it moved on to the Glass Building for the past about 3 years. But it's a
Mhm.
really powerful show. It's been in DC. They have been in Martha's Vineyard, which is a big bump. And Martha's Vineyard is really known as, a big summer place for Blacks, especially now that President Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama up there. It is the place.
Mhm.
However, out here in the Hamptons, there's Sag Harbor, which is also another place with a lot of vibrant history of Blacks. There's a Native American reservation out there, the Shinnecock Reservation. I'm part of the Sag Harbor community as well as the Harlem community. And there's even an event which is piggybacking on this, which happens every year, called Harlem in the Hamptons. So this year, on this Friday, the 17th, right through the 19th, is the Harlem Fine Arts Festival. And it's Harlem from Harlem to the Hamptons. It is at the Duck Yard Vineyard. And I am so honored to have one of our artists that's going to be participating. I'm going to let him introduce himself. I don't want to mess up his name. And he's going to share a little bit about who he is, whom he is, from whence he came, and a little bit about where he was born, because that's a big story. We just discovered that. Okay, so go right ahead, say your name right.
Hi, my name is Daquan Cherry. I am from Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I've been a New York native for about 9 years now, and self-taught artist. I've been drawing my whole life, painting for about 10 years now, and on an ongoing journey to emerge into something grand.
Okay. So you said you've been drawing your whole life,
hmm
self-taught,
hmm
and how did all that evolve? You know, how did that happen? And how
Um,
have you been able to bring this into fruition?
for me, it was just something that when it came to drawing, it was just something I just did. It was a sense of like therapy for me at one point. It still is. But that
Mm,
was I didn't know it was going to be a career thing. We'll get into that.
okay.
It was something I just did. I never thought it would be where it is now. It was just something I knew that helped me. I'm into poetry as well.
Mhm.
I'm into writing. I love public speaking, but sometimes I don't know how to articulate my words of what I exactly want to say. And art
Okay.
always found that outlet for me to articulate this is what you mean. Um, so I've always been in that space. Now, painting came about 2016. By that time, I was like, years in of already developing, like, okay, I know how to draw this. And some people knew, some people didn't. But even that was just supposed to be like let me just see where this goes, as in terms
Mm.
of like experimenting and curiosity.
Okay.
It started, I was in class. Well, I was in Central Piedmont Community College, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And I had this one friend who had an art class. It wasn't even my own class. It was,
Okay.
and pretty much we, in college, you do each other's homework. Like
Okay.
you
I
do
hear
this for me, I
I
do
hear
this
you.
for it. You know how that goes. And pretty much she was like, I know you. I've heard it. Like I know you know how to draw. Can you do this like one like thing for me? It was pointillism. And for some people who don't know what pointillism is, it's just a series of dots that turns into a picture of some sort, whatever you're like,
Thank you. We learned something here
Yeah.
today.
um, and it was a pointillism portrait of Angelina Jolie. And I'm
Hmm.
just like, oh my God, this is like, I shocked myself. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So then I
Hmm.
went the same day. I had that same friend drive me to Walmart. Um, and I just maxed out my credit card and just got a bunch of painting, like acrylic paint, tried oils. I was doing like canvas, just getting a bunch of supplies. I was just like, well, I'm just curious now,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that's where it started.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, what has this art journey been? From just starting,
Hmm.
now you're in this major Harlem Fine Art Show. So, is this your first time doing the Harlem Fine Art Show?
It's not my first time. I had I've indirectly been in it more than once by accident.
Okay.
The first time was
Okay.
an accident. The first time was with Rodney Love Jones. I had like two pieces, two or three, I forgot. It was about
Okay.
2 years ago. And then Nilu had a shop last year, well, this year in February. And
Right.
one of
Yes. Yes.
my puzzles that I collaborate with, Puzzle of Color, was in it. And I didn't know. I went to go visit and went to go like,
Uh-huh.
show support. And I saw Nylu there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Hi. She's like, "Your puzzle's here." I was like, "Wait, I'm here." So
Oh man.
I went to go
Okay.
support them, and I was there this year. So I've been. It was like it was destined for me to be in it.
Wow. That's
But my
amazing.
thank you. My journey, I will say, has been a beautiful one. I think it's a rare one because I tell people all the time, I don't know how I'm still here. Well, I know it is, it's God, but what I'm saying is I don't know how I'm still here. As in, like,
Mhm.
how am I still creating full time? I've been a full time artist about 8 years of the 9 years I've been living here.
Wow. That's a
Um,
powerful thing.
and that's powerful. And I don't take it for granted every single day, every time. And I have all my friends who are in corporate America, working in service, working in any industry, and I hear them. It just reminds me every day, like, I live a very rare and blessed life, and I'm very grateful for it. But every single day, I'm just like, I don't know. I think because my attitude was always, there's no plan B. This is what I want to do, and
Okay.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. That's so inspirational. It's a good thread because we did an interview with one of the other artists, and it's kind of like that thread is a bit of what he said. The
Mhm.
God thing, you know. So I think that's inspirational for young people. Like first you think about it and then you just kind of do it. And I just wanted to share. I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News, and I'm here with a artist who's going to be participating in the summer Harlem Fine Art Show coming up this weekend. Dequane, am I saying it right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Daquan Cherry. And he was mentioning that one of his pieces of art is a puzzle. And here in Harlem, there's an amazing gift shop, which is called Nilu. And
Mhm.
interestingly, I don't know if it's the same one, but both of my granddaughters love puzzles. And I know that they've come in, they don't really live here in the city, but they've come in
Okay.
and discovered Nilu. and I think they like bought puzzles for one another at Nilu. So I don't know, maybe
Wow.
it's your
It
puzzle.
may be. If it is, that will be like we're having too many synchronicities
Yes, yes,
happening
we
between
already
me and
had a
you.
serendipitous thing where
Yeah.
he's from Elizabeth City. And then I said, well, my mother's from Elizabeth City. And then we talked about Elizabeth City State Teachers College and
Yeah.
said my grandmother taught there. So now we're talking puzzles. So it's a lot of things. But how has this living art world been for you? Because a lot of times we think of, artists as like really, having a hard time struggling, doing, other things. But obviously, in this world, people do a lot of things. Because I
Yeah.
saw, when you were saying you had modeled, you had,
Hmm.
done acting, you had done,
Hmm.
so people do a lot of things. But to be able to actually support yourself and experience doing art, how do you do that? What are some of the things that
Um,
happen for that
well,
to?
my journey with it all. So yes, I've been a full-time artist since for 8 years, but that ties into everything of the modeling, acting, and painting. Painting, I started doing full time around COVID,
Mhm.
and it was honestly because of COVID.
Yeah.
COVID happened, and the day that we shut down, I was doing a thank God I was doing a big major like modeling gig that like
Mhm.
paid me well. And it's funny because 3 days before I got that gig, I remember I was about to move back to North Carolina.
Mm.
I was about to give up.
Okay.
So like when I say I'm grateful for all but I've also had those moments where I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. This is becoming too difficult. I'm
Mm.
getting frustrated. Um, Things feel quiet because that happens a lot in all three, the acting, modeling, and art world. Like there are
Mm.
quiet months,
Mm.
sometimes quiet years, and
Whoa.
people have to. If you get into that space, you have to grow some grit in that space and understand there may be moments where you're really not sure what's gonna happen.
What's going to happen? And you
Yeah.
mentioned the dichotomy of like corporate world, and you mentioned going to school. Do
Hmm.
you have like another like school career that's a fallback or how?
No, like so
Okay.
it also so the I moved here 2017. I transferred from my community college to go to the university that I really wanted to go to. I got accepted to it twice, St. John's University. But when I
Okay.
got here, I remember talking to my theater teacher and telling him all the things that I kind of really wanted to do. And
Hmm.
but prior to that, I had the same conversation with one of my advisors at Central Piedmont. It was this program dedicated to young black men in the world, just trying to push them out there and give them
All
motivation.
right.
And I
Not.
was telling Arma Shaw, I believe that was his name, and I was like, "Yeah, I want to act and I want to model and I want to do like I was just listing all the stuff." And
Mm.
I will never forget this because it was so simple, but it was so profound in the
Mm.
simplicity. He was like,
Okay.
he literally said, "So just do it." I was
Okay.
like, I just looked at him and he just looked at me like it was that easy. I was just like, but something clicked. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, so I'll just do it. And everything full throttle. I was in all like majority of like I was going to all the doing the plays in that community college,
Hmm.
um, doing modeling gigs, and then I was like, I need to move to New York City, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna figure it
Okay.
out.
All right.
Yeah. And
Okay.
when I moved here and then I moved to New York 2017, and when I got to college here, fast forward to that theater teacher.
Hmm.
I was telling him all the things I wanted to do, and he also had a simple. So he was like, "So why are you here?"
Mm. Okay. Okay.
And I was like, "I don't know." And
Hmm.
I thought I sat with that,
Hmm.
and I realized I was only there to please everyone else,
Hmm.
to
Oh,
have like a college degree, just because
okay.
everyone knew me to be the smart kid. I skipped the 12th grade. I graduated a year
Okay.
early from high school. All that.
Mhm.
Like I was really like this, like, I was known to be
Yeah.
like a smart
Right.
kid. So it was
Right.
always expected of me to go to college.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think that's why I was like, wow, I was still in it. But I realized everything I wanted to do, and I encourage people to still do it because I loved, because college helped me see
Mhm.
my artistic value and see how
Mhm.
much what I was missing as a kid. So when I fast forward to that, that's when I realized, like, okay. And I remember talking to one of my cousins. I was like, everything I wanted to do. She was like, if you're gonna do it, you better. I said, no. If I drop out, I'm
Mhm.
going hard. Like I can't. There's no going back. There's
Yeah,
no
you
plan
can.
B.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you.
And here we
Yeah.
are 9 years later.
Okay. So that's a blessing. So what have in the art world, what have been some of the successes that you feel you've had in the past? What's
hmm
happening in the present? And what are you looking towards in the future?
Um, some of the past things I've done, like some really cool things. Like I funded my own solo shows. Um, I've had a bunch of group shows. Last year did a residency in France for a month with other artists. I
Nice.
just mentioned the puzzle that I collaborated with Puzzle of Color with. Um, I'm currently illustrating for an author for their children's book.
Hmm.
I did one of my pieces was sold to Angela Bassett and Tina Knowles Wearable Art Gala.
Oh,
Um, what's up?
nice.
Yeah, thank you. So many other things I did. Like I was in one of the oldest literary books in California. I forgot the name of it exactly. It's over there somewhere. Um, and just multiple just like commissions and
Mm.
did a collaboration with Steve Madden. I did a limited edition collection of a denim jacket, a boot, and a belt bag. I've
Oh,
like, I've
so it's a gamut, a range of things,
yeah.
of things. So you're bringing all of those, the modeling, the this, the that, the knowledge
hmm
together. That's really exciting. I think I saw something in one paper about a teddy bear. What's that about?
Yes, so my teddy bear is my is my signature motif. It's in every single art piece. You'll see just sometimes it's like hidden in plain sight, or sometimes it takes some
Mm.
time to like
Mhm.
really analyze the painting for you to like see it. If you know my work, some people just that's the first thing they go look for is like, all right, where's the bear? But
Mm.
I like seeing from a new person's point of view when they see multiple of my pieces and they notice that as the reoccurring factor. Like, hold on, wait. They may not notice it from the first piece. They may think it's just there, but then they'll notice like if they look at a multitude of the work, like, oh, hold on, who is this little guy? And it represents keeping your inner child alive. The
Oh.
whole idea is that it takes you to find it again, which is like why I like hiding it sometimes because it's hidden in plain sight. When I think
Mhm.
of the inner child, I think of imagination, creation, purity, and honesty, something kids do so willingly. And when
Mm.
we get older, we feel as though we have to diminish those versions of us and stop being so delusional. But delusion is what caused innovation.
Mhm. Okay, so you got to break that down. That's
Yeah,
heavy. That's a little intense.
like
Delusion is what causes innovation. So
innovation.
speak on that. When you say delusion, what do you mean?
People thought we're on Zoom.
Yes.
FaceTime was a delusion until it wasn't.
Okay.
Apple, they
Right.
thought he was delusional for having Steve Jobs was delusional for having these crazy ideas of what technology could become. Here we
Mm-hmm.
are now. I can FaceTime our friends all the way in France and Australia.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that were once. I Last year I was on a flight to France. That
Mm-hmm.
was at one point delusional to be in the air flying in the object. So that's what I mean by delusion is what causes
Okay.
innovation.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I think that's very interesting and very true. Because and one of our partners here at Harlem Network News once, I don't know if it's coined a phrase, but really said, we're in a technical revolution.
Mhm.
We had the, other kinds of industrial revolution, but this is literally a technical revolution. And it's
Mhm.
interesting because I literally started out as a filmmaker,
Oh, okay.
film and wine and reels and 35 millimeter 16, da, da,
Hmm.
da, da, and then we crossed over to video. But honestly, with Harlem Network News, we've been able to do a lot of things because of this technical revolution.
Hmm.
Zoom or, iPhones now, or, some of them are as good as, any 35 millimeter camera. Now they're having, what is it, the vertical, like basically
Festivals. Hmm.
feature films and stuff. So, the technology has gone a lot. We've gone from, a phone on the wall, we've gone to from having to, pay, and now we got WhatsApp. So, like you said, we
Hmm.
instantly can talk to anybody in the world. We can see
Hmm.
what's happening in the world. So, it's definitely what I would say is a brave new world.
Hmm.
So I like that phrase. It's very interesting. I think you had something else that you spoke about in terms of art being healing. And
Hmm.
how do you see that? How do you fit into that?
For me, it definitely, I feel like, saved me from falling in different pits. It's just like, okay, I can't, again, when I was saying about sometimes it's hard for me to articulate exactly what I'm feeling. And
Mhm,
I'm pretty good at explaining myself. I talk a lot, I'm a talker. But
mhm.
then sometimes I don't have much to say verbally, but I know I have a lot to say. And then I know it pours sometimes in poetry, it pours sometimes in painting, it pours in dancing and acting. Like all of those, it pours in expression of how I dress and
Mhm.
my
Oh,
hairstyles and all that. So all that
right,
is
right.
artistic forms, and those things are what keeps me moving forward.
Hmm.
They're
Okay.
very important to not just only me, but I think a lot of times when people are down, they listen to music or they dance it off or they, whatever. These things are art forms, or they go
Right.
to plays or they go to a movie. These are things that really, I think, universally helps people heal a part of themselves.
Yeah, it's inspirational. It's creative.
Hmm.
It's feeling, it's touching, it's experiencing. And, I think a city like New York or a Mecca like Harlem is just a walking piece of art every
For
day.
sure. For
The,
sure.
the
Every time I'm outside, I'm like
stimulation is like,
inspired. And
woo.
I have people that know that I'm an artist, and they'll ask me all the time, like, "Oh, what inspires you?" Like, if we're out, I'm like, "This." I don't mean it in the vaguest way possible. I'm literally this. Like I'm seeing
Hmm.
history play out as we speak. This is my
Yeah.
version of history. One day we're not going to be here, but this time period will be talked about.
Yes, it's another because we know we had the Harlem Renaissance, and
And we're in the 2.0.
we're in another Harlem Renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things, and this is kind of like not really off the beaten path, but it's something that we're dealing with. We are dealing with a lot of violence. We're dealing
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of us killing us.
Hmm.
We just had like a really crazy major shooting at a basketball game like a couple of days ago. How do you think that art can help with this? Because we know we've had the dichotomy of music from hip hop to like drill music that has really, been like kill music and all of those things. How do you think that art can help this whole violence?
I think art does what it always have done. It tells what's happening, but it also can shine a light on it in different ways. I saw this was I'm going back to a moment that I just had a was just talking about. I saw an interview with it was Kiki Palmer. She was an interviewer and she was interviewing Jennifer Lewis, and they
Okay.
were talking about being in the forefront, and this is Jennifer Lewis was pretty much saying like this is your time. Talking about Kiki, not just her herself, but just
Hmm.
the generation. This is your
Okay.
time. And she was like,
Right.
she was like, I'm tired. I think like 67. I forgot her exact age. I'm
Right.
gonna
Okay.
misage her. And she was just pretty much saying, I can't run and fight no more. I can't do that. And Kiki made a good point, and she was saying, I'm scared to tell my black friends, my queer friends, all of them to run in front of and then Jennifer was just shut her, like, not shut her up, but just kind of like was like, I'm not telling you to be in front of the cops, and she said twerk as something like twerk in front of cops,
Right,
like she's
right,
very expressive. She was
right.
like, don't do that, don't, and she, being her, but she had such a profound, I felt it in my spirit. She was
Mm,
like, it shows you do it in your art, you do whatever you can, you have to give in this moment. She said
mm,
that's why I go online and I'm on the piano screaming and yelling and
right.
dancing and
Yes.
singing, because I'm telling my version of protest
Mhm,
and how I can show up and how I
mhm,
can be acknowledged and noticed. Figure
mhm,
out that for yourself. And I think art um has that universally from the time art was ever acknowledged to the
mhm,
prehistoric to now. And then even within my own, I do believe healing your inner child heals a lot of trauma, heals
mhm,
a lot of things that can hinder you, because
mhm.
a lot of this that's happening is from trauma,
Yeah, trauma,
whether it's
trauma.
childhood trauma, whether whatever. Everyone has their own different version of it, but
Mhm,
it does. I do believe there's a lot of internal things that a lot of people are going through, which
mhm,
is why they react the way they react. Sometimes it's not necessarily you, or most of the time it's not. When people react, especially in that moment that you just spoke about,
mhm.
it wasn't just them just playing basketball that made
No,
them
no, no.
react that way. It
A
was
lot of
something
things
that, and
led
maybe
up.
somebody did piss them off, but there was an internal anger within them that made them react that way. And I do think healing parts, like healing that, whether it's therapy, whether it's art forms, music, all of that does play a big difference. And I do think
Mhm,
art, specifically, especially mine, talking about healing the inner child, because
mhm,
there's so much of my inner child that I have done the healing with my art, with going to therapy. I go to therapy every other
mhm,
Sunday. I used to go every
mhm,
Sunday, man, that's every other Sunday.
mhm,
Um, all of those things help me not react the same way I used to react, or
mhm,
look at life from a different perspective and have
mhm,
gratitude in certain spaces that I wouldn't have
mhm,
had if I didn't heal parts of that. So I
mhm.
do think art needs to be treated with more respect than the world gives it, because it is the way to human nature, pretty much.
Okay, okay. So, great answer, very important. And I think they're even doing like some genetic therapy, knowing that there's genetic trauma. It maybe didn't happen to you, but
Mm-hmm.
passed on down the gene lines, especially,
Mm-hmm.
from Native American perspectives or people that came across the water on the Mayatha, that post-slave trauma is
Mm-hmm.
still there. And so, when you have people sitting in a seat of anger,
Mm-hmm.
that itself, I think like anger is another form of depression, so it's a lot that we're dealing with. Here's one more question, on the art side. The sale of Black art. What is that?
Mm-hmm.
How is that? How can people be encouraged to know what it is for art collecting? Because in some instances, art is actually like bankable, you know. So,
I believe, I personally feel as though people should not look at it as a trend when it comes to black art being
okay.
sold. Uh, and I say that with grace of just people, one, buy what moves you.
Okay.
I think that's where a lot of people should start,
Hmm.
not based off of what's trending,
Okay.
um, because trends come and go.
Hmm. Okay.
But I think a spiritual connection to, or like a physical, emotional, whatever connection you have to a piece,
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
that's where you start when when you were building your portfolio of collecting,
Okay.
because it has a different meaning when it comes from a place of integrity and love versus just a quick dollar. Because art
Hmm.
appreciates, but sometimes it takes time. It's one of those things. It's a long term commitment. It's a
Hmm.
long term relationship.
Okay.
Unless you have a piece from Basquiat, Picasso, but even then, you have to think it. Look where they're at now. Picasso was in his 90s, and he had
Mm-hmm.
some success, but like he was in his like and then Basquiat, he didn't get his full on appreciation until recent years, and he was
Mm-hmm.
popular. He was known in the 90s, but he got more popular credit later on in life, so it appreciated in time. So I was
And
thinking
after his transition as
after
well.
his transition.
Yes, yes.
And I think we're in a new age because of social media and because of technology in the industrial
Mm-hmm.
technology revolution. I do think it benefits artists because it shows more artists that are alive. I am one to attest that like I don't know where I would have been in my art career if social media wasn't one of the platforms, because that's literally
Okay.
that's the platform that pushed me the most.
Mm. Wow.
Before galleries knew who I was, before
Mm-hmm.
residencies knew who I was,
Mm-hmm.
social media figured me out, and I
Mm-hmm.
figured it out, and we have a beautiful bond together that I will never deny. So I do think, and it helps me promote, because back in the day you had to go to all the, and you still should have that grit of going to galleries and
Mm-hmm.
connecting and making
Yes.
relationships, but
Right.
social media is a very important part of it now too, even for galleries.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, what are some of the galleries? And then we're going to just wind on down because we've covered a lot of different things, but of interest. What are some of the galleries that you've worked with or you recommend or, you
Well,
know?
that I'm still in the space of building connections with,
Okay.
because a lot of my work is on social media.
Oh,
So
okay.
COVID really pushed me. I remember like during January 2020, I only had 2,000 followers on Instagram,
Mm,
and then by
mm.
the end of that year, I had 10,000, and now I'm at like
Oh,
thirty
okay.
one to 32.
Woo.
And that all just came from me having fun and marketing myself. Before I even knew I was marketing, I was just
Mm.
I was just
I love it.
having fun and
Okay.
posting and creating, and I
Mm,
still am in that space of just enjoying myself. But I am now, you're witnessing the transition of trying to build those connections with galleries and be in festivals like the Harlem Fine Arts
mhm,
gallery and
mhm,
festival,
mhm,
and
mhm,
going to different like art openings and
mhm.
doing it the traditional way. I did
Okay.
it like I did the
Okay.
non-traditional way. Now I'm trying to like learn the other way. So
Okay.
we're in a transitional period trying to figure it
Okay.
out.
Okay. I love it. So, how can folks get in touch with you? How can they follow you with all of this? And
Mhm.
really, really great conversation. So, just let
Uh,
us know and give us a closing statement as well.
so my Instagram and my website. Instagram, I may respond to faster. Flacco Waters is my Instagram. That's
And
FLACOWATERS. That's
mm,
my Instagram and .com.
mhm.
I will say, you are your longest and strongest relationship. Take time to nourish and take care of you, because at the end of the day, that's who you end up with.
Okay. Okay. So I love it. We can close on that note. This is Terri Wisdom, Harlem Network News. And please subscribe. We're trying to climb up to those 30,000 followers. We're on Instagram and all social media. And we're about people being informed, engaged, and call to action. If you have stories, please reach out to us. You can call us directly, 646-261-5397, Harlem Network News at gmail.com. We have our website, harlemnetworknews.org, which we're constantly revamping. So we're working, just trying to really get there. And please donate if you can. You can do Zelle, you can do Cash App. Bring your eyeballs home, as counterpart Roland Martin says, because a lot of times people like watching Tubi and they're not understanding, hey, that's Fox. And then all those dollars go to that. So we got to circulate our money within. And looking forward to seeing everybody out at the Harlem Fine Art Show. I'm very excited and excited to see you in person. And we'll have to figure out that North Carolina connection a little.
Yes, if we might be cousins.
Kind of looks that way.
Right.
So, okay, well, take care. And thank you so much for your innovation. And What's one of the puzzles at Nilu? Title?
What's It's called Dandyland. I actually have it right here. Is this
Okay. Dandyland. Woo, 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 woo. We can kind of see it. Okay.
uh
Well, I'll look for it.
there we go.
I see it. Okay. I got you.
We
Nice.
got
Nice.
mine. Yeah.
Come on. I love it. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Keep going.
Thank
Forward
you.
never, backward never.
See you soon.
Thank you. Absolutely.